Hi, Frank. It's great to see you as always. Thank you so much for coming on Begg's Banter. I want to get straight into it and take you right back to when your move to Aberdeen came about. When did you first find out about Aberdeen's interest?
Yeah, I found out just after I'd fell out with Alec Miller at St Mirren, and I was in contact with Big Alec at the time. McLeish, he was a friend of mine, and he actually told me years on that he told Sir Alex to sign me,
Hmm.
and when it came in, when the offer came in, St Mirren obviously took the offer, and I was so glad to go to a bigger, massive club like Aberdeen. No disrespect to St Mirren.
Hmm. Did Sir Alex Ferguson reach out to you before you actually signed, or how was that process? How did that work, Frank?
No, he just said that there was rumours going about that when I was at Clydebank, he was after me because I played 1 year at Clydebank and scored 45 goals or something. And anyway, cut a long story short, uh, Celtic came in with 150,000, and Jack Steedman, the the owner of Clydebank, wouldn't let me go to Celtic because St Mirren had come in with a record transfer fee of 180,000. Anyway, I signed for St Mirren, and Sir Alec Miller, who was the manager at St Mirren then, Jim Clooney had left, came in and said, you can either go to Coventry, Anderlecht or Aberdeen. So I chose Aberdeen because my daughter was still in Glasgow, and I could see her quite often when we played Celtic and Rangers
Hmm.
down there in Glasgow. But, you couldn't refuse not to go to Aberdeen when, what they had won in Europe, what they had won in Scotland. It was just impossible to turn it down.
You were signed to firstly fill Mark McGee's boots, who had only just left. Did you
Yeah.
feel any pressure to fill those shoes?
Yeah, you feel a bit of pressure. Obviously, going to a club like Aberdeen, the players they had at the time, the things they had won at the time, you want to start off in the front foot. Yeah, I did feel pressure. But as you get into it, playing with these boys, no disrespect again, they said, man, when you're playing with Scottish internationals, it becomes easy. You know, I think so anyway.
Did you feel a step up in standards when you first started training?
Uh, Playing with St Mirren, 5 semi-finals, we couldn't win one, beat Aberdeen beat us, and one Rangers Celtic beat us, and a couple of them beat us. Yeah, I don't think there was a player in the Scotland team at St Mirren. When you go to Aberdeen, you've got Miller, McLeish, you've got all these players, you know what I mean? You can get through them all if you want, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah, to go and play with guys like Willie Miller, McLeish, Peter Weir, Black, Hewitt, I better stop there. He can name them all,
Yeah.
you know.
You played the majority of your games up front with Eric Black. Did you feel an instant rapport with him when you guys first met and then when you first started training and playing together?
Yeah, fantastic, Eric. Fantastic player, great header of a ball. Obviously, John Hewitt was in and out at that time. Black was magnificent. Yeah, I got on great with Eric. I just used to, as being a centre forward, Eric would get up and header the ball on. I knew where the ball was going, latched onto it, and try and put it in the back of the net.
Yeah. You see, ironically, when you made your competitive debut for Aberdeen, I know you went away to West Germany on pre-season tour and you played a couple of games there, but your competitive debut was against St Mirren. And I've always wondered, as a player, does it feel a tad strange going back to the club that you've just left to make your competitive debut for your new club?
Yeah, in a way, Ali, but going back with Aberdeen, your chest was filled out that bit bigger.
Mm.
You felt as if you were way a better club. No disrespect again, they were a fabulous club. They are what they are.
Mm.
But going down there with 6 internationals in your team, you're thinking, wow. And I'm playing in the same team as these boys, you know what I mean? And it did. I was trying my hardest, but things didn't work out, obviously. I never scored, so I was very disappointed.
Aye, but you settled in well. You played well that day. I was looking back on some newspaper reports, and I know obviously as a striker you want to score and you want to hit the ground running, but you played well that day.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Quick fire questions. So you can answer them how you like. Ideally, one word answers. Okay. This is the first of your 3 quick fire questions. Who did you hang out with in the early days?
With Aberdeen?
Yeah.
Not really. I hung out then, but it was very strict. You know, I mean, you couldn't hang out. When I signed for Aberdeen, I was roomed with Tom McQueen, who I was roomed with him, and Tom was kind of, you know, he wanted to drive to training, and we just went to training, come back home, but we didn't really go out or anything like that. We never really hang about.
Okay. Who impressed you the most in training?
Probably the squad, you know, every one of them, you know, Willie Miller, Peter Weir, Jim Bett. I can go through them all.
Yeah.
Neil Simpson. You know, it's one of these ones, Ali, you're asking the question that, you know, if you look back at the Aberdeen side, then what can you say? They were top class. And I'm very privileged to be part of that and help them win, which I call the treble, but it was League Cup, Scottish Cup, and League.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that in just a moment. Another quick fire question for you. Can you recall, because obviously you're a bit of a lovable rogue, can you recall your first fine and what was it for?
My first fine was when you walk in that corridor at Pittodrie in the old main door. So Sir Alex shouted us in for a game of snooker, and I beat him. And he says, "I assure you, find a week's wages."
No way! For beating him at snooker.
Just beat him at snooker. You know, he's just one of these guys that I must owe him about £100,000 in fines. but I got away with it.
Yeah. We'll talk about Sir Alex in just a moment. Last of your first lot of quickfire questions. Is it true that you did not drive when you first came to Aberdeen?
Very true.
Okay.
Then I got a license, and history is written all over it after that. So we'll forget that one.
Okay. Right. Ahead of the Celtic game, the game where we won the league, or just about wrapped it up when Willie Miller scored his header.
Willie Miller, yeah.
Yeah. Is it true that Fergie devised a plan to let the Celtic players think that you were injured ahead of that game? Is that true?
Very true.
Okay.
In the week leading up to it, from the Monday, Tuesday to the Saturday, he had in every paper that McDougall's injured. So obviously Celtic are thinking, oh, great, you know, whatever they want to think. And he had me standing with my shirt and tie on. Back in the day, the referees got the team sheets about 10 minutes before kickoff. So I was standing just at the thingway, and Mo Johnson, that's running out. All right, Luther, you're not playing? I said, nah, I'm not playing. They're injured.
Oh, really? You told him you weren't playing?
Yeah, and then Fergie, obviously the team sheets went in. They were out warming up, and Fergie shouted me in to get ready quick in 10 minutes.
So sorry, Frank, did you get a chance to warm up?
No.
No, okay.
I was that fit, I didn't need to warm up. Oh, Ali. If I missed a day's training, I'd put in 3 stone.
That, of course, was our last league championship title. So, with the power of hindsight, now that you can look back on that accolade, how proud does it make you feel knowing you were part of that team?
Unbelievable. Probably the greatest day of my life.
Really?
Not day. The cup finals were the greatest days, and the winning things were the greatest days. Just fantastic, Ali. It's just to be part of, especially being part of that squad who a year before it, had won Super Cup, European Cup Winners' Cup. I mean, come on, let's face the facts. You know, fantastic. I still live in this memory. I still watch YouTube, go back and think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's obviously 40, 30 or whatever it is years ago.
Yeah.
But how time flies, mate.
I know. That season, your first season, you won the Golden Boot.
Yeah.
Because now you talk about looking back and memories and stuff like that, do you sometimes have to pinch yourself that you won such an accolade?
No, I feel so proud winning it. You know, I mean, to score the most goals in Europe, league goals in Europe, and you know, ahead of some great players, better than me, obviously a lot better than me at the time, and to go up and lift that off Eusebio was just something else. To get that boot off Eusebio, my hero, was something else.
Yeah, fantastic accolade, just phenomenal. I'd like to ask you, because obviously 2 seasons at Aberdeen, both with Sir Alex as your manager. How was your relationship with him?
Relationship was great. I mean, I was probably there was 1 or 2 from Glasgow who played for the team, and I think I was always the one that was arguing with him, you know, and I think he liked that. But, you know, the relationship was fantastic, you know, up even till now, you know, he's always got big things to say about me. I've spoke to him once over the past year. Yeah, it was great. You know, you just had to be on the right side of him. Otherwise, you know, you'd be in at 5 o'clock in the morning training on your own. You know.
Right. Let's do some more quick fire questions for you. Favorite pre-match meal?
Scrambled egg.
Okay, that's a new one.
Toast.
On toast, of course. With the toast buttered?
I was a bit fat at that time. Yeah, it was buttered, yeah.
Did you clean your own boots?
Funny enough, a young boy, Malky Thompson, Billy Thompson's nephew. Yeah. I think he's the manager of Rangers Ladies now. I think Malky used to say, and I'm sure Sir Alex's boy, Jason, or the other brother, Darren, used to play. But the man, I always asked a man, and he always kind of says to me, "Can I'll clean your boots for you?" Was a gentleman called Sir Teddy Scott. Teddy used to, I mean, he was my father figure there. Teddy. He was Mr. Aberdeen. He looked after me.
And he will always be Mr. Aberdeen.
Always Mr. Aberdeen, that man. So much a gentleman.
Yeah, an amazing man, truly is. Okay, what was your favourite hat-trick for Aberdeen? Against Celtic, where you obviously scored the 4, against Rangers at Pittodrie, or against Hearts the Wednesday after we beat Celtic to just about wrap up the league? What was your favourite hat-trick?
Them all, probably. But ironically, the one, I think I was injured for about a month before the Hearts game, and I can always remember at Tynecastle, it was a scorching day, and I scored a hat-trick, and I think it was 14 minutes.
Right.
Anyway, I carried on. I lasted to about 60 minutes because of the back problem. Started to feel the back and that sort of thing, you know.
Okay, we'll come on to your back in just a moment. But before that, you mentioned the 2 cup finals that you played in. Both of which we won 3-0. So why do you think, Frank, that in relative terms, those games were quite comfortable for us?
Better team than both of them, you know. You know, I can't recall, Ali, that I don't know when Aberdeen lose the cup final. I can't really recall it, but as I say, I go back to the squad we had, that you couldn't think that Hearts or Hibs could beat Aberdeen in the cup final anywhere, league games, home or away. You know what I mean? But it was just the squad of players we had. They were all fantastic. They were all great players. And once you score that first goal against them, any team, especially a team like Aberdeen, then you go on to just humiliate them. You know what I mean?
Again, can you just confirm a story for us ahead
Yeah,
of the Hearts game?
yeah.
Obviously, the week before they lost the league, when everyone was expecting them to win the league title. Is it true that Sir Alex Ferguson instructed you guys to go round each Hearts player when you first arrived at Hampden and basically say words to the effect of "bad luck last week"?
But yeah, it's true that. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And do
They
you
did
think that affected them?
could have.
Yeah,
We weren't bothered. It was more of a. It was more of a Sir Alex banter, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah. It worked a treat because what? Within a few minutes, John Hewitt scores the opening goal.
I dummied the first goal. Yeah, Peter
Yeah,
we across. I dummied it.
yeah,
Hewitt, but
yeah.
still.
Brilliant, brilliant. Great dummy. Okay, when did you first start to feel the issues with your back?
Probably one of the semi-final against Raith Rovers. I think it was the semi-final of the Scottish Cup that year. I'm sure it was Raith Rovers at Starters Park. We won 2-0. I scored the two of them. We won. I had a whole overhead kick and I landed in my back. I thought, I felt something, you know. But anyway, got up, a bit sore, but it was okay. Until it wasn't. Obviously, surgeons found out more that it was called traumatic spondylitis. It was nothing to do with injury, just a floating bone in your back, which they, in medicine terms, they call it. And history's took its toll, science took its toll. So I kept playing, but it was very hard to train. And obviously the cup final, Fergie wanted me to play in the cup final. Had a few tablets and that, you know, and I got through it, just got through it, and that was the end of it.
Mm. When did you start to first sort of discuss these issues with Sir Alex and how serious it was becoming for you?
Serious for me, and Sir Alex, he actually sent me down to Glasgow to see a specialist, and he stood behind my back and he did all that, and I thought, oh yeah, I feel good now. He sent me down there because we were playing Gothenburg away in the quarter final, and he wanted me to play because it was 2-2 at Pataudry, and we had to win over there. And we got over there and they mentioned the team and I was subbed. I thought, thank God, you know. Anyway, 10 minutes to go, he says, right, Frank, get warmed up. And I'm thinking, 10 minutes to go. To this day, you know, he thinks he obviously made a mistake, but that's life, isn't it? And after that, it was just downhill. We played in the cup final, as I say to you the other now. And after that, I came back for pre-season training. Ian Porterfield took over. He was manager. I couldn't do it. I could play football, but I couldn't train every day. Not at that standard. I couldn't play football at that standard.
Yeah, and obviously the training and playing at that level goes hand in hand, doesn't it?
Oh, well, yeah. I went to Aberdeen Royal Infirmary and they gave me the news. And I come back and Fergie was standing on the touchline just outside the tunnel. And I told him, and he was devastated. He left to go to Man United 2 weeks later.
Very troubling time in your life, I guess, Frank.
Dramatic, mate. Dramatic.
Yeah. I can imagine. I can only but imagine. Listen, let's finish on some positives, okay? So I've got a couple more quick fire questions for you, just to finish off. The best player that you played with?
At Aberdeen?
Yeah.
I could say 6, 7, 8 players. Peter Weir, probably.
Okay.
Probably. He made me, you know, obviously being his crosses and whatever he done. Wally Muller was exceptional. We don't get two players like McLeish and Miller, and you get 170 caps between them. Do you know what I mean? But as I say, Ali, they were all great players. Jim Bett, Simpson, Hewitt, you know, Starkey, you know.
Yeah, an unsung hero, Billy Stark, I think.
Oh, mate, unbelievable player.
Yeah, great player.
We call him the Ghost.
Yeah.
He always pops his head in. The Ghost comes in at the back post.
Yeah. I was only looking back on the 85 League Cup final and the Scottish Cup final. And you're quite right. The way Ghost's in at the back stick to stick both of his goals away in the cup finals.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Great player. Great player.
Oh,
Okay.
fantastic.
Let's finish off with one last question for you. If you had to pick one Aberdeen goal as your favourite, which goal would it be?
The third one against Rangers, the tap in from 2 feet.
At Pittodrie for your hat trick?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know, I've always wondered, when you celebrated that goal, I can't remember who you're celebrating with. It might be Neil Simpson, but you catch somebody in the crowd and you sort of do a double take and you point at them. Who were you pointing at? Can you remember?
Yeah, it was a guy shouting, "You going for a pint after, Frank?" I says, "Yeah, I'll see you later."
Oh dear, that was a great hat trick. Brilliant. Mate, listen, we're done. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's great to see you, and thank you for reliving your memories.
Thanks, Ali.
Absolute pleasure, Frank. Take care, my friend, and we'll speak again very soon.
Thank you very much.
Bye, mate.
Bye, Paul.